All right, guys. I know you guys are coming in. I know I do have the chat. I have it on slow mode for a reason. I just really the chat comes get a little crazy when I have especially somebody is popping as this was gonna be up on the screen. I mentioned the chat is slow, but you guys, the rules or everything in the chat. Respect my guests, respect my moderators, respect my members, respect everybody in the chat, okay? Because I can tell this is going to be a very good live. You want to enjoy yourself. Now, before I even get started, I'm going to ask you guys to please, as you come into the live, hit that like button. I really don't want to repeat myself over and over and over. I want to enjoy my guests, which I already know I am. But I want you guys to hit that like button. Please respect what the moderators tell you guys. And, you know, it is what it is. All right, look. I got Carmen in the background. Okay, get your life if you're not ready. If you're not ready, it's too late. Welcome to the stage.
Bang, bang. What up? Good morning.
Yes. What is going on? Hello. She is looking fine in this outfit. I swear, I'm telling you, I'm gonna have to hit her up. Like, look, I know I'm in Texas, but just point me in the right direction. I love her style. What's going on, Mama? What is going on?
It's Friday. You know, every day's Friday for me. So I'm glad I'm finally in Kamisha's palace. Okay.
Look.
I've been peeping. I've been looking. So I'm finally here.
Yes. And I know that we're going to give them a show. So look, let me go ahead and get into it. First of all, can everybody hear me? Can you hear me? No sound problem. Please let me know. Okay. These are my auntie's earrings, guys. They asked me about them all the time. She actually custom made these earrings. She made it for me for the TV because I do reality TV show. If you want these earrings, I will put the description and all her information in the chat. Y'all be asking about these earrings. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it, Miss Carmen. Let me ask you a question. This is straight up. Who told you? This might sound funny, but who told you that Ready to Love was a good idea? Like, how that came about?
Oh my goodness, they have been after me for a minute since the season came. Right. I have someone in the industry, and they were like, "Carmen, I think you would be great for this show." I'm like, "Yeah, okay." And they was like, "Submit your stuff." I'm like, "No." So they kept hitting me on the shoulder. So the season went through. I thought it was over. They was like, "Listen, you would be perfect for the show." I'm like, "Really?" They're like, "Yes." I said I was going to submit my picture. I didn't.
Really?
I was on the last end of when they were getting submissions, and the individual who's in the industry was like, "I'm on the phone. While I'm on the phone, I want you to click and submit, send." I was like, so I did it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. I think I got a call within 15 minutes. And they were like, wow, "Do an interview tonight." And I'm like,
dang. Okay.
And then after the phone interview, they were like, "Can you do a Zoom with the producers?" Okay. I'm like, "Tomorrow morning." I'm like, "Well, hold up now." And it went that quickly.
Wow.
And so I was just kind of like, when you're going through the process, it's a long process. I was just kind of like, I have a very positive outlook on life. Okay. So I feel like I'm a winner in every arena.
100%.
This is not a problem. This is not a problem. And so they finally were like, "Yeah, we would love you to come on." And I was like, "Okay." And then they said, "But we're doing something different. We want you to be a curveball." So they started off with me being a curveball. And I was like, okay.
So that's what I was going to ask you. Did you know going in that you were going to be this? Well, I know you said curveball. You mean curveball as in like the extra or whatever they're doing this year, this season? Not necessarily, because I feel like, did you know you were going to be the Foxy, the Spot, the villain, the villainess? Excuse me. Did they kind of give you an inkling you were going to be in that role? Because
no,
that's what's in the beginning of the season is the villain.
They just said, "Girl, we gonna love you. We gonna love you." I'm like, "Okay, I know I love me too." But all I knew was I was gonna be thrown in later on, and in
Okay.
my, because I asked them, I said, "Well, if I'm thrown in, do I get a week grace period that I can't be thrown out?" They were like,
Mm,
"Oh, no worries, you can't be eliminated right away," because I felt like I was on delay and that wasn't fair. And
okay.
they were like, "No, of course." However, that's not true, because as soon as Cornelius came in, he was gone.
He
AP.
was.
So there
He
was no grace.
was.
I really think it's not fair to the curveballs or the blind dates, because you're coming in as an already made
Yeah.
group, and we felt it. So all of our curveballs, all of our blind dates, we felt that we weren't apart when we first came in.
That had to have been hard coming in like that. Like even getting to know everybody. Do you feel like they was welcoming, especially the ladies? If you come into a situation where there's a group, women and men. As a woman, I would gravitate, towards women, hoping they would welcome me in, something like that. Give me the heads up, like, hey, girl, we got this going on over here. Da 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 da. How did you feel going in?
Um, in hindsight, so I'm gonna tell you how I felt, and then in hindsight, uh, how I felt was, it was like high school. You know, when you start halfway through the year, you move, and you start halfway through the year, and let's say you got cute outfits, or you just pop in and you come
Okay.
in and people
Mm-hmm.
like who she thinks she is, or who you think.
Mm. Hmm.
So even though they don't know each other either, they had formed these groups, and I felt like when I came in, it was like I'm walking into a room of people who already know each other, and um, and are looking at me like, out there, like, um, you know, watch out, this new person's coming in. So they already put this stigmata of the new person coming in wrecking shop, right? So
Right.
not, oh wow, a new person, yay! It's like, here we go again. Why are we bringing? We're already here. We don't need no new people. Now, in hindsight, I talked to my good friend Clifton, and Clifton's like, "Yo, we was talking shit about y'all when y'all came in." So the feeling that
Okay.
we felt is true. They were like, "You don't need to bring them in. We good. We don't need no more people." So it was really hard for people like me, Donovan, Tina, Eric, AP, and Cornelius, because we were going against the grain as we came on.
It it seemed like it was very hard for you coming in. Both, if anybody who came with the curveball. I mean, you talk about how cornbread got sent off so quickly. It's like, did you get any red flags coming to the set? I mean, I know you talked about how hard it was, like the high school moving around. I was a military kid coming into a new place. I get that feeling all too well. But did you get any red flags when you came onto the set? When you started feeling around and meeting people and stuff?
But let me tell you, I kept it 100, and Ace and Joy can tell you this, right?
Hmm.
The first double date I had it with Ace, Joy, Clifton, and Tori. And I met the women first. And I came in and I asked them, I said, "So how are we going to do this?" And they said, "What?" I said, "What's the protocol?" I said, "Is there, like, if I like a guy, am I supposed to tell you?" You know what I'm saying? Like, I was,
Right.
what rules of engagement, right? Because I was
Right.
trying with respect. Like, I don't want later on for you to be like, "Well, dang, I thought we was friends. You like my guy." So I asked him,
Mm,
and
yeah.
"Oh, honey, it's not like that. We all friends." And in my mind, I'm like, "That's gonna change."
Ah, she already knew what's coming.
That's gonna change because some people like the same people. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was very to the point. I will say, people have to respect that I knew the assignment.
Mm.
Okay, my assignment was to find a man or meet a man that I could date, love, and possibly marry. It was not ready to find friends. It was ready to love. And I came in with laser focus on a man or men to date. So the women will tell you, I did not come in like, "Hey girl, hey, snap, snap."
Right.
I did not. No disrespect. I came in and I said hello, and I sat down and waited for my turn to have the deliberation or whatever.
That is, you did your assignment, but I mean, you did, and let's be clear. The thing about it about this show that a lot of people complain about, I'm talking about previous year, whether it be bloggers or fans, is that the women didn't know the assignment. It was more like, I'm gonna be emotionally tied to one person. You can't talk to him. Instead of, I'm here on dating show. If I'm outside in real life, I'm going to date. What would be the difference? The only difference is that you're in a bubble. It's on TV, but you knew the assignment. I'm just saying. Um, do you think they? I don't want to say they looked at you and saw your personality and want to make you a villain, because essentially, like I said, you were the villainess of this season. Do you think it was set out that way, planned that way, or it just happened
Oh, in
because of?
hindsight, yes, baby. Yes, they had a little bulletin board, and they was like, okay, Carmen gonna be the villain, Sabrina gonna be so and so, the kid gonna be this, and I fell into that simply because I was honest. Okay, so in my mind, audience, friends, whatever you all out here, I came in on this show to be one, vulnerable, right? I'm not used to being in these atmospheres. I had to let my guard down and I had to really give this a chance. Okay. And I also came in saying I was going to be real. So we had, for example, the camera when we had the little interviews, they had a
Right.
picture of Oprah, right? And so when I
Okay.
talked in the interview, I felt like I was talking to my auntie or my best friend. So if I said some little stuff, I'd be like,
Mm-hmm.
really? You know he want to be with me. This is like me talking to you, Kamisha, like, girl, she ain't got nothing on me. You know what I'm saying? That's
Right.
my man. That's how
Gotcha.
I
And they
did it.
recording it. Okay.
So when people come back like, oh, she's saying this or she's saying that, I'm like, audience, I thought you wanted people to be real. I didn't realize we were supposed to be fake on this. So reality TV to me was, I'm going to come in and if I think something, I'm going to say it. And you're going to hopefully respect it or not respect it, but you are going to understand what I'm thinking and where I'm coming from.
So let me ask you a question about your connections. What were your genuine connection that you say you had on the show? The ones that we didn't know about and the ones we saw on screen. What were your connections?
Oh my God. Okay, this is some tea. All right. So let me break it down a little bit for you guys. Out of the 10 men, I have had 7 connections through this journey. Okay. And some fell off because I was genuine with the process.
Okay.
And say this, I would like to address the comments of desperate. I'm not desperate. I
Mm.
thought Sabrina, check yourself before you wreck yourself. I'm never a default baby. Um, so when I said 7, okay, starting off, you all saw me and Laverne, right? Great
Yes.
connection. Spoke of it. She's thicker than a Snickers, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Me and Laverne first. Then it was me and Clifton. They
Yep.
wouldn't show our date, right? You saw him speak of me in the deliberation with Tommy, right? Then
Yes.
Cornelius, me and Cornelius had an amazing date. I was fighting for him to stay, and he got voted off that exact week. That's 3. Then you have Eric, that's my baby boy, right? Uh, date on our date, he sang to me, y'all. Yes, y'all missed it. He has an amazing voice. We're both preachers' kids and retired Air Force. Okay, so we had a lot in common. So after Eric, it
Yeah.
was Paul, Donovan, and Demetrius. Y'all don't know about Demetrius. Me and Demetrius, and you got the receipts, had several
Hold
dates,
on. Let me
and
go find them.
I was on his friend's date. That's how deep our connection was. I was on Demetrius's friend date. Okay, which says that he really was feeling me. So I had 7 connections. Now, how that broke down once Laverne and I got to know each other, it just wasn't a good fit. So we moved on. When I got to know Clifton, amazing guy, one of my best friends now. Um, he told me from day one, I have a real deep and strong connection with Joy. Okay, I heard it. I was like, okay, yeah, cool, cool. But when we was at the pool house, baby, when Joy, listen, if y'all remember, I'm sitting here, Clifton's sitting over here. Okay. Clifton, yes, that is the best friend date with me and Demetrius. They will not show you all. We had a
So
very
why do you think that is? They
well.
won't show.
They playing me and Demetrius. Demetrius had more than Sabrina, and what saddens me is she will not say it or state it in any of her interviews. Demetrius, at the beginning, connection with Joy, from what I know. Okay, so
Right.
let's talk about
Okay.
what I got. There, Demetrius had a connection with me, Tina, and Sabrina. So he had three lovely ladies. Okay, so they play Demetrius like he's quiet, he has no personality, and only person that was looking for him was Sabrina. That's false. I was looking for him, and y'all don't see Demetrius smile, so that tells y'all something right there. Look at
You ain't
him.
never lying because he is smiling big, child.
Okay, so we had a very strong connection. We would talk for hours on the phone. Yes, me and
Mm.
Demetrius. So they didn't show that in my book is because they were trying to play Demetrius as no personality, and the only person that really was looking for him was Sabrina. They played me because they wanted, if I'm the villain, I can't be the villain and have all these men. Technically, Sabrina, when they have say Sabrina's men, it should have been Carmen and her men. I always
Huh.
trumped Sabrina when it came to men, baby. When it came to men, when she had two, I had three. When she had three, I had four. In the middle of this situation, I had Eric, Paul, Donovan, and Demetrius. Halfway through this, they were my connections. At the very end, they don't show. I had Demetrius, Donovan, and Paul. So desperate?
Mm.
No, never that. A default? No,
I don't know
never
why they
that.
even. I don't know why they even say that. That's the thing. Okay, as far as desperate, all these negative things. Let's get into why people hated you so much. I'm gonna say this honestly. Do you think that a lot of the hatred started with that scene with you, Dekia, and Eric?
Oh yes, 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 yes. Now let me tell you some tea about that scene behind the scenes.
Okay.
Okay, Eric were have been friends, and let me explain that friendship. And people are like, oh, maybe he's picking her because he need to make that bag. He needs her for a job. Eric is very successful, and when I say successful, that man has worked with Tyler Perry. He has worked with Tyrese. He has worked with a lot of amazing people. He is in rooms where I'm in, and we're talking about money. We're talking about celebrity status. He does not need me. We are good friends. When we came on this, when we were in rooms together, and they're like, well, why didn't they ever get together? Because when we're in those rooms, we're doing business.
Okay.
We're networking. So we'd be like, hey, we would chat for a minute, and then we would go move on. He travels a lot, New York, Atlanta, Alaska, I mean, all over. So he really is busy. And we'll chat. He'll say, congratulations to me. I'll say, I see what you're doing, that type of thing. But we never got to really link up. But when we are in this setting, we're like, okay, this is the moment I get to know who he really is. Also, I kind of thought Eric was a player because let me tell you, Eric has beautiful women surrounding him all the time when I see him. So I'm like, why is he single? Like, maybe
Right.
he's so when we met and we were like both on here, we're like, okay, this is a time for us to see each other and get to know each other.
Mm-hmm.
So me and him kicked it off. We had a date, a group date. They did not show. And in that group date, he says, I'm so excited. I'm so glad I'm going to get to know you more, Carmen. I'm like, me too. That group date was on with me, Sabrina, Precious, and Wiley. They didn't show
Okay.
that. Um, and so as we're talking and getting to know each other even more, I'm like, the kids in the deliberation always talking about Eric. I'm like, okay. And
Hmm.
so I tell Eric, I'm like, are you getting to know anybody else? And he's like, no, I feel like the kid is my shadow. I said, I know. Every time she's around, you're around. Every time you walk there, she walks there. I said, bro, you need to get to know other people, including me. He was like, you're right, Carmen. I'm going to try to get to know more people, and I want to go on more dates with you. Cool.
Okay.
He said, he said, if You see her following after me. Can you intercede? I said, okay, cool. I said, that's easy. So when you saw the kitchen scene, she had been all up on him all day, y'all.
Okay.
And she had been shadowing him all day. And I'm like, I don't wait in line for nobody. That's
Hmm.
not your man. And it's not fair, right? You putting claims. This is a whole situation. So I'm like, okay, fine. I'm just going to go in there. So I go in there. Now, mind you, I did not know they had just had that conversation. I wouldn't have went in there at that point. You know what I'm saying? They talking about relationships and all kinds of stuff. Now I'm seeing it on TV and I'm like, ooh, that probably wasn't the best time to go in. But at that point, I'm just like, oh, okay, she been there for 30 minutes. I'm ready to talk to Eric. So I zoom in. You see her face like, and she says,
Yes.
Carmen came in here like a wrecking ball. What am I supposed to come tap and say, hey man, can I come? No. Like, so I come in there and I didn't like that she says I was manipulating the situation or him. First of all, we all signed up to date. We know what this is about. How could I manipulate a man who wants to date 10 women? Use your words correctly. Okay? There's no manipulation here. So when I came in and I talked to him and, whatever, she felt a certain way. That's when I felt like she started having resentment and anger
Mm.
towards that moment.
Okay.
But it
So
wasn't
go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
wasn't in malice like I'm trying to. It was like I would like to have a turn today. And he had asked me, Carmen, you know what I'm saying, if she lingers too long, interrupt so I can talk to you or talk to other women. And so that's really why I went in there.
So that's originally why you went in there, but that scene turned into something else to like everybody else. What I mean by that is, because I think after that scene, that's when everything happened with, we're gonna talk about that in a minute, but it seemed like there was a catalyst, like, oh my gosh, you went in there, she talked bad about Dekia. Because women look at it when they talk about it, even bloggers, they'll say, well, you dragged Dekia. Like you really like talked about her. And then why do it for no reason?
Well, let me put it like this. I never said anything directly towards the kid's body coming from me. The one thing about Paul, that was Paul's words, okay? So that wasn't me talking about her body. That was something I'm repeating to say this doesn't make sense. But everything I said about the Kia was really uplifting myself. If I go back to it, I'd be like, give her the eviction notice. That's not saying the kid's personality is bad. That's not saying she's not attractive. That's not saying she's not smart. That's saying I'm moving in, right?
Got
Um,
you.
I say, what is she doing here? Because for that example with Paul, she didn't like Paul. She didn't have a connection with Paul. So the things that I say, if you really go back and look at them, were not really bringing her down. It was saying, I'm here. I'm coming for my man, or I feel I am beautiful and I am the woman that this person deserves. So it wasn't really shade with her. And it was kind of like fun banter. That's how I looked at it. Like, girl, you ain't getting this. And I would think a strong woman would come back and be like, girl, you better watch out. But she,
Right.
like, who Carmen's picking at me, throwing rocks. And I'm like, girl, go on somewhere. I mean, come on, have some thick skin, So I didn't look at it like that. Um, I still have never said anything derogatory about her profession, her body, any of that. However, America, fans, audience, it is okay to dislike someone. It is
Hmm.
okay to not agree with someone. And how me and her situation happened is simply because I don't like her ways, right? I don't
Okay.
like moves and how she's disrespectful and how she's devious. I don't like that. And I'm not a
So I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm
I'm
not a
just. I'm sorry, Mama. I was gonna say, is it the way she was moving? You say we were moving funny, and you look and you see they moving how they, and then you kind of you act accordingly. So they put it all on you, but as I said before, we do not know what was said about you. I mean, there was things said about you as well. It just nobody
well,
talks about that.
fair game, correct? So fair game meaning if I never said anything about her body. However, she could say things about my body. And no one said, they're like, she's defending herself. Defending herself against what? So if you're going to say Carmen's bad for this, and you have to give that same energy to Dekia. You know, you can't
100%.
okay for Carmen to say something. Not, it's not okay for her to say something, but it's okay for her. And she said it multiple times. She said it at the brunch, said it
Yes.
to Paul, and even gave him an ultimatum and said, "Hey, if you dealing with her, you can't talk to me. I don't have to give a man an ultimatum, you know." And so it was okay. And I got on Paul too, because Paul was like, "Don't talk about other people on my dates." Well, you let the kid talk about me on your date.
Mm.
My thing is give same energy. If you give me rules, the rules go across the board. And that wasn't happening. And you all have to understand, what y'all didn't see is I came there to really find love. And when I didn't see potential with a man, I walked away. When the Laverne and I didn't see eye to eye, I walked away. When I saw that Clifton had a great bond and connection with Joy, I walked away. I never came back and said, "Hey, you got votes for me?" Through the streets and the men, the kid would call the men right before deliberation and say, "Where do I fall on your roster?"
Oh, wow. Hmm.
She would say things, "I hope I don't go home." And when it comes down to it, based on the men, um, she was not in anybody's connection list. If anybody should have been going, and so I lost respect because instead of you having connections, you were trying to manipulate people and ask them, where do I fit in your connections, instead of having a real connection. Also, how she was manipulating Eric, you know, and the things she did to Eric. I have a son, and I don't believe in tearing a man down.
Well,
If she,
let's jump into well, since you mentioned his name, let's go ahead and just jump into Eric. Now, tell me, were you there first? Were you there that day?
I was on location, I wasn't in that space where the incident happened.
Okay, let me see if I can say this. Did you play? I don't gonna say play a part, but were you a part of any of it? The discussion after the fact, was you a part of any of it?
Yes. So, um, we Eric and I had a wonderful date before. That's the time he brought me flowers on my birthday. On that date, what they cut out was, he said, "Carmen, I'm feeling you. I want to move forward with you, and but I want to tell you something." And you can see where they kind of cut it out, because he
Okay.
said obliged, and then you're like, obliged with what, right? Well, she had leaned in and kissed him, and he obliged, which to me that word is kind of weird, because you oblige a kiss. I mean, you should want a kiss, not oblige kiss. But anyway, that's not my business. So I was like, okay. And he said also she leaned in twice, so they had two kisses. And he was like, she had said that if I lean in for a kiss while we're on camera, you better kiss me back. And I was like, what kind of, I said, and so when you see me in the deliberation and I say she's desperate, man, I'm not telling no man to lean in and kiss me back. It's either mutual and a chemistry, or it's not. So when they cut stuff out, it's because of stuff like that. So when I'm saying stuff like she's being mean, it's because something has happened that they're not showing you guys, right?
Okay.
I only tell you that is because right after that, that's when we're on scene. And um, I see the kid get in his car, and I guess they have a short conversation.
Okay.
He tells me, I said, "Hey, what's up?" He was like, "Well, I told the kid that you're my number one." I said, "Why you tell her that?" You know what I'm saying? We know.
Mm.
I'm like, he was like, "Carmen, I want to be honest." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I said, "How did she take it?" He said, she was like, "I'm very disappointed." I said, "Okay." So I thought it was over.
Okay.
Okay. Fast forward, we having a good time. We rapping, and Wiley and her rapping, and we having a good time waiting for the photo shoot to go on. Um, I guess that incident happened. From what I know, it was Babe Babe, y'all, aka is Donovan. Babe took the picture. It was Babe taking the picture. It was Dekia and Eric, and then Paul was somewhere around there. Okay.
Okay.
And so, from what I understand, there was, I guess he was behind her. In my mind, he was behind her like in a prom picture. And she like, what you, it's a prom? And Eric was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? You know, well, let me spice it up. Now, once again, I don't know the hand positions. Cool, whatever. After that, she was like, you know, don't do that or something like that. However, after he was like, oh, my bad or whatever, she went and posed still to take the picture after that. So I'm like, why would you take a picture after you just told him not to touch you? Okay. Now, mind you, let me make this very clear. If Dekia feels violated in any way, I understand. I cannot take a position that someone who feels a certain way shouldn't feel that way. Cool. What confuses me is the actions afterwards. Okay. So I'm not taking away how she feels, everybody. I just don't understand the movements afterwards. Okay. As a woman. So she still took the picture. Okay. I think he thought everything was okay. Everybody went on moving. So much that we went on the boat. Now, nobody knew except those people at that time. Okay. So everybody's moving. So what happens next is we get on this boat. And once again, Erica's trying to walk and she's right behind him, shadow. Where Erica go? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn. In my mind, I'm like, damn, she won't let him breathe. Okay. So they get on the boat. She right by him. Okay. And there's pictures out there where she's right by them. Okay. And they put right there. Look. Yep. And this is after the incident. Now, once again, I can't judge nobody, but I've been in situations where I've been in a situation where I did not feel comfortable. I don't want to be that person. You see all these people, I would not choose to be right by that person. So in that position where y'all see, they put music on. They're like, act like you having fun. And we're like this, you know, some of us in heels, we trying to act like we have fun, but we scared we're going to fall off the boat, y'all. So all of a sudden the spotlight, fake spotlight, comes on Dekia and Eric. Eric, you know what I'm saying? Dekia.
Right.
They did a whole dance move, y'all, together. I'm like, oh, that's cute. Not knowing that the incident had happened just before.
Right.
That. So, okay, I'm telling you this, how we're seeing it as they're fine.
Okay.
He is thinking they're fine because why are you dancing with me, right? I mean, when I say dancing, as close as they are, that's how close they were dancing. Okay.
Right.
So, okay, the day is over. There was a place that, a pier, some kind of pier bar. Some people were like, let's go. A lot of us went. We get there and they're talking, the kid and some people are talking about the incident. So for us castmates who did not know, we're like, what? What is going on? And she's like, da 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 da, talking about him. And this is irritating me, right? Because this man is not here.
Okay.
And we getting a little discussion. We getting a little.
The sound went out just a little bit.
Side note for you guys, I'm very loyal. Loyal to a point. I probably wouldn't really be in this situation. Like the energy that I have with Dekia is because I know she did Eric wrong. I mean, all this day we're fine, and then we get there and you're talking about him to castmates who weren't there. So now you could put a seed of judgment in our head about Eric, right? In hindsight, there's text messages out there that she asked him to come. So is it because he didn't come, you decided to badmouth him? Would you have said those things if he hadn't been there? So all these things run through our mind, bring confusion because we were on site and saw her act perfectly fine. Now,
Okay.
she said, Eric asked her, somebody asked her, who was it? Was it Eric was like, well, why did you dance with me? They cut this part out. They edited this part out. Why did
Okay.
boat if you didn't feel comfortable. Her response was, well, the producer said, until you all act right or until you all finish the scene, we're not going home. I
Hi, when I right when you was talking.
huh?
I said when it's the phone. She's trying to do it on her computer. It was like the picture was not that great. So we're on her phone. So y'all have to just bear with us. Sometimes StreamYard and the phone it's still in beta mode. It's acts kind of wonky. So just
Can you hear me?
we can hear you. You kind of go. You'll go out for a second and come back in.
So her reasoning of not dancing with him was to get the shot because Eric asked her at the reunion, well, why did you dance with me and act like everything was okay on the boat if you were uncomfortable? And she says, well, the producer said if we don't act right and finish the shot, we weren't going home. Excuse my French. F the producers. If a man touched me and I don't feel okay, then if I don't feel okay, I'm not dancing with somebody who just touched me or whatever. I'm not doing that. So I'm just like, don't play that. I know I've been in situations where I felt so uncomfortable. I don't want to be around that person. Now I cannot judge her, but it brings confusion to the cast that you all looked fine. And then you're like, nobody stood up for us. How was we supposed to know to stand up for you if we don't know what's wrong? Like, don't play that, tell someone. Our parents have always taught us when something happens, tell someone immediately. The producers would not have let it go on. They would not have forced you to be around him.
So then what? Well, because everybody has a different. Let me play devil advocate. People have a different mind. They say, and they told me the same thing. I've said the same exact things.
Hey,
We're not. He wants to. I don't know if he wants to link it. What he's saying that we are not in her head. We didn't process it the way she did. We don't know what she went through. That's the link right there. Only for Paul. You know, people are saying that we're judging and we're also victim shaming. I'm just gonna give my opinion about it. I do not call it victim shaming because I'm not discrediting her feelings. Me saying that perception, it looks different to everybody. It's not going to be the same to everyone. So I don't think you should call somebody a victim shamer if they have a different opinion about the situation. I don't know, but you know what I'm saying?
I'm telling you from a different perspective what we saw. That's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you from a different. I keep getting on this group text. I'm gonna have to get off this. This is it. Nope. Hold on one second. I'm getting leave conversation.
Hold on. Paul's coming up here.
Hey,
He said he
sorry
wanted to
about that. So
say he wanted to add some
I'm
clarity
half.
to the conversation. What's going
Yeah,
on, Paul?
sorry
Welcome.
about that. Yeah, I'm
Oh, you
half
good?
that stressed. I was sitting there.
Hey, arms. Girl.
What's up? Brr. So I was sitting here just kind of going through this, and I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt your whatever you had going on. So all right. So there's a lot of controversy around, for me anyway, and a lot of confusion about the whole Eric incident. Now, like I said before, I wasn't there. Well, when you guys were still at the pier, at the Skipper's Pier, I think I left out like about 20 minutes after we got there, saying my goodbyes or whatever. And then, you guys, I guess you and her had some sort of, back and forth at the table.
Right.
Yeah, and then she had called me and explained that to me. And then immediately following that, well, actually, she asked me about how I was feeling, and then she explained what was going on with that. And then immediately after that, she had mentioned, talked about the incident. Now, okay, so this is where I'm all the way confused because, in that conversation, she sounded like she was upset with regards to that. And like I said, we did talk. And I asked her, if she was going to go to production and, and she said she just wanted to make sure she had a witness and all this other stuff. Right. And then, I talked to the same producer that Eric talked to that night. Next day, asked the producer, did you talk to her? Like I said, mind you, they hang. But I said, there was an incident that went on. Did you talk to her about it or whatever, whatever? He says, no, he's going to get back. That's when the executive producer called me, whatever, whatever, and got my side of the story. But then, I think in the reunion, there was like a part where she said, well, I never wanted to go to production. So there's two things that can't exist. Or, okay, one, why the hell did you call me and tell me that you were upset and that you were bothered by it or whatever, right? Like, I'm the type of person, I'm pretty diplomatic. And, like I said, I do have daughters. So if you come at me and you say something like that, I'm going to go to bat for you. Mm-hmm. Now the thing is for me that, I was there in your corner and I had your back and whatever. And this is a problem. Like when men, sometimes when we stand up for women in these circumstances and then it blows back on us and makes us look like we're the bad guy. And then, next time you start thinking twice, like, do I really want to help this lady? Because I know what happened last time I tried to do something and then, or it's just like, and I'm not saying this, this is for her, but I'm just saying, and for instance, you could go and have somebody that's being abused by a man and you can go and stop the man from the attack or whatever. You could beat the guy up. And then next week you see her with that guy. Do you understand what I'm saying? So in the moment, she needed the stress. It was a distress call. You handled it. And then next week you like, oh, y'all back together? Like, well, what the hell? What did I get myself into? Do you know what I mean? And it puts me in that headspace because it's like, okay, so why did you tell me all of this? Like, I didn't ask you this. Why did you tell me? And then at the same time, when I tell you that I do have your back, then you distance yourself from it and make it look like I made this problem for you and you never wanted this to happen, which is unfortunate. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, but listen, she said you went and told the producers. Let's get to the facts. Did you go and call the producers and tell them about this incident? Because she said you're the one that did it.
I did not go to the producers. I talked to the same producer the following morning. Now, remember, this incident happened at night. Eric talked to the production first. The same producer that he talked to, I talked to that morning. And I said, did you hear anything about the incident? And he says, yeah. He didn't say no. He didn't say yes or no. Obviously, he had to have heard about it if him and Eric talked. And then he said that he was going to call Dekia and call me back. And he never called me back. The next phone call that I got was from the EP, the executive producer. And he said, tell me what happened. And I said, do you want the PC version or the street version? He's like, well, I already heard her side of the story. So just give it to me straight up. I just need to make sure that this aligns with what she said. So that's when, I told him what happened. So, I mean, for example, if she never wanted to go to production, I feel like by the time she talked to the EP or whatever, she could have said, this was something, it was no big deal. It was something that we already handled. I didn't, there's nothing that I want to pursue or whatever. But, it ended up being like, now you got these interviews and, you're telling people, this and that, but then you didn't want to go to production. And I'm like, well, damn, you like, it was like it seemed like, she didn't want to take accountability for her emotions at that time. And I mean, I get it. People go through the fire sometimes when they're in a situation and, like in the moment when that happened, I was considering the fact because she didn't really like go off when the incident occurred. She did make the statement though and said, hey, wait a minute now, I'm a lady, you can't touch me like that. And then that was it. And then I got in my car and that was that. They were still there posing for the picture or whatever. But I looked at that situation as whiplash. You get into a car accident and boom, you don't realize the pain until later on when when the dust settles. So
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking, what is what happened to her when she was talking to me that night. Like maybe it's set in. But then I'm thinking, well, like this both sides of that is sort of controversial when you look at it one way and you say, okay, well, you called me and you expressed to me that, how you felt violated and this and that. But then at the same time, you say that you never wanted to talk to production about it, or you never wanted production to know about it. But then you go on camera and then you make these statements on camera saying that, he's not ready to love and, he needs help or whatever, and you make these sort of statements. Like one thing that they made clear is that we don't have to go and say anything that we don't want to say on camera.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to. So, if you didn't want to pursue anything, or if you didn't want any damage to occur or whatever, you had the opportunity to say, I didn't want to, move forward. I didn't want to have anything happen to this man. But instead, it feels like, it's some sort of damage control now after, people are looking at you or judging you and saying, this man's career or whatever was on the line. It's like, well, I never really wanted to do that. It wasn't me. And then you kind of throw it on me like I created a big problem for you. And all I was trying to do is what I would expect any man to do if my daughters were in that situation, which is, be forthcoming, be honest about, what you saw. And, if you see a woman in distress, help her.
Paul, can you pause for a second? I need you to pause because Demetrius had came on the line, right?
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in space. Demetrius?
Is his camera off? Is his camera off? Oh, Demetrius, you
Yeah,
here?
yeah, this is me. Yeah, my camera
Okay.
off. Yeah.
Okay, got you. Welcome.
Yeah.
So
What's going on? How you doing?
I asked
I'm good.
Demetrius because a lot of what the interviews you hear one side and then you have to wait a week to hear the other side. And so people said, let's bring receipts. Well, I'm ready to bring receipts. They're going to be pictures, they're going to be text messages, or they're going to be people. So I asked Demetrius to come on really quickly because I wanted him to bring clarity that and Kamisha, you can ask in whatever way, clarity that we did have a very strong connection. He was one of at the very end. He had more than just Sabrina as a connection. And also another part is that me and Demetrius have been really good friends. I would consider him one of my best friends. And so after the journey, another receipt is that when I have conversations, I go and talk to Demetrius about it. And one of the conversations I had was that Precious called me apologizing about.
Hold on. Tell me which one. I'm gonna pull it up. Tell me which one. Hold on. Let me get it pulled up, and then you tell me which one I have. Okay, hold on.
Just saying. Well, Precious made a statement on the reunion that I don't talk to Carmen. Lies. And usually when she would call me, I would go talk to Demetrius and be like, guess who just called me? Precious. And we would have a little conversation. So, Kamisha, you can ask Demetrius however you want about two things, about our connection and about that I did actually have conversations with Precious.
Yeah. I mean, just pretty much clear that up about your relationship, Demetrius, because nobody really thought that y'all had a connection or anything like that. So you can go ahead and spill yours now because literally nobody thought that until even Carmen is saying that nobody believes her.
Yeah, actually, me and Paul actually met Carmen at the same time.
Yeah.
At the exact same time at the bonfire, which was later on after the actual dinner that y'all saw. So me and Paul met Carmen at the same fire. So later on that evening, I took Carmen's phone while we was at the bonfire. I'm sorry about that. I'm backing up. I took Carmen's phone at the bonfire, and I told her she couldn't get her phone back until she put my number in, in her phone, because, I wanted to talk to her because she was somebody that I hadn't talked to and I hadn't seen. So she went through the process. So we actually talked after, I put my number in her phone. I left for the night. I made sure she got home after the bonfire because she had to take an Uber home. She was kind of upset about that. So I made sure she was home, made sure she was safe. And we just talked ever since that night. We talked and we connected. So she was a connection for me all the way into the end. And what they didn't show on the actual show was me and Carmen had a date before the getaway, and then we had a date after the getaway when decisions were made with, with our other connections with her and Donovan and me and Sabrina. And I told her during the getaway that I'm gonna move forward with Sabrina. So after the getaway, which they didn't show, that me and Carmen had a date after the getaway. And we sat down and we talked, and Carmen said, "Hey, I wish you the best. Make sure she takes care of you. Make sure you giving her what she needs. Make sure you give her what she needs. And I wish you all the best." That's what we said. And I said the same for you and Donovan. So we had that date to close up our connection on the show, which was never shown.
Yeah. And I'll
Why
say,
is that? No, I'm saying, but why is that none of that was shown and the connection was so so deep? But do you know why? What was the deal? Like, I know they made her to be a villain to me, a villainess. So I want to know why is it they did not want to show her other connections with other guys on the show?
It's the storyline. Like, Carmen and I had several dates. Actually, we had really good dates. And the thing is that you got to understand, they didn't want us, because in our dates, especially like one of the last ones, we there was so much substance in that date where we were talking about families and things of that nature. And it was a really deep conversation that we were having. And so to make her appear surface level, to make me appear surface level, so that they could continue to travel with this narrative, her being a villain, me being awkward and not really being able to have good conversations or any good social skills. They isolated these incidents, and then they wanted Demetrius to seem like he was one-dimensional, one person, and one direction kind of guy. And Demetrius really pretty much dated like damn near as many people as I did. Like, he had a lot of dates with different women.
Yeah,
he had
me. He was a force to be reckoned with. And
yeah,
they don't know that.
Right, and that's the thing. Like he said, me and Demetrius actually, when he was on the low sneaking Carmen's phone number, Carmen was in between me and him, and I'm like, "Is he still here?" And she, joking. Yeah, I was just joking. Like, "Is he still here?" And she's like, "Oh yeah." And he's, meanwhile he's on the low getting the number, and I looked over and saw it. I said, "Okay, all right, Playboy, I see what you're doing." But
wow.
yeah, so it was that date. I mean, Carmen, it wasn't like she only had me and Donovan, and that was that, or like she was trying to tug on Eric and snatch Eric up from Dekia. It wasn't like that at all.
I had natural connections, and and even the women will say, I was like, there was one time me and Demetrius talked for 4 hours on the phone.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, we had Carmen, we had a lot. We wake up, motivational video. We send each other motivational videos. We talk about our military careers, like our back. Like, we talked about a lot, and we did stay on the phone a couple of times for like 4 hours, sometimes 2 hours. Like, we talked like a lot, pretty much like every day, ever since that day that I met her with Paul. But nobody knew that. I mean, I don't announce everything that I have going on, even in the gentleman's lounge, besides the dates that that they know I'm on. But everything that's undercurrent that's going on, that's not who I am. That's not how I rock. So, like with me, I say, hey, the noticeable one was Sabrina, and then they knew I was going on dates with Tina. Me and Carmen never had a date, so nobody knew what that was because we never went on an actual date.
Not very. Our first date was the friends date.
Right. We had a friends date that was never shown as well. It was Carmen and Tina never showed up to that date. The only friends date they showed of mine was Sabrina, but it was actually Carmen and Tina as well on my friends date as well.
I don't even understand why all this was hidden so much. Since Paul is here, let me ask a question. When you and Paul had that little thing at the brunch, when y'all kind of went back and forth, like, everybody still wonders what happened because y'all seem so cool, like the whole entire season. All of a sudden, it's this situation. Now, the narrative and the questions that I said, because the Golden Girls were involved with that, mixed up in it. Let's be clear.
Are you me and Paul?
Yes.
Okay, but first, I know, Demetrius, you got to get off the phone, right?
Yeah, I got to roll.
Demetrius?
Yeah.
Okay, can you confirm that I had communication with, or Precious had communication with me?
Yeah, the day that Precious talked
This
to
is a
you, he
message right
called
here.
me. Yeah,
What'd you say?
I said the day that Precious called me, what called you, or was the day that you told me, like, hey, guess who called me? And you said, I was like, who? You said Precious or whatever. Me and Precious had a conversation as well. I'll get into that later. But
Yeah.
she did call me and tell me, you know what I mean, that her and Precious talked, and we talked about, what they talked about, because where it stemmed from was Carmen was trying to set up an actual, like a ladies, little get together, and she was going to invite me. But I said, you
Okay.
know what? No, don't invite me. Invite the ladies, because y'all need to forge a relationship with each other, because I see a lot of turmoil between y'all. So I said, hey, we
Okay.
need to invite Precious, Dekia, invite all of the women,
Sabrina.
so it won't be a one-on-one thing between you and Dekia. I said, invite everybody, so everybody will be there, so you can be more comfortable and she can be more comfortable. So that's what that conversation was about.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
It's
and
proof that they had conversations. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, just to add to that, Precious told me multiple times that she called and she talked to Carmen, that Carmen invited her, or that she went to some events that Carmen had going on or whatever, and they talked there. They've had conversations. They've had plenty of
Thank
conversations.
you, Demetrius. I think he's getting off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Thank you for coming on, Demetrius. These are the
yeah,
text messages that she's saying that they had conversations because in the reunion she said they didn't talk.
they
So as to
talked.
those in the chat who said they didn't understand the point of the receipts and the text messages, is because she stated that they didn't talk and they obviously have. These are conversations. It doesn't really matter what the conversations are. It is just showing the fact that they had conversations. So
Yeah.
okay.
Right.
And now I did want to get to the question I asked you guys about the brunch.
Oh
Huh?
yeah, yeah. So, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So that whole brunch, the thing that tipped it off was this. Like I said, once again, this was like Precious going heading in. Precious had mentioned about, yeah, I talked to Sabrina, and Sabrina saying that Carmen and um, Carmen and Donovan and Demetrius or whatever are having this alliance. Now, let me just tell you, at that time, Precious was still interested in me, even though she was out of the process. So I can understand, that seed being planted, And then I talked to Sabrina, and then Sabrina fortified that seed that was planted. And then for me, after I look at everything in hindsight, it looks like there was some deception in that picture. When you talk to both sides of the situation, I'm like, well, damn, so what was this really all about? Like, was it payback time? Like, who was paying who back? Like, you know, what was good with that?
See,
Because for
Paul is
I'm sorry,
Paul is political. Let me break this down to you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Paul is
Paul,
political.
yeah. Let me break this down to you. Now that you know that it really come down to it, I had the most connections.
Oh yeah, for
Why,
sure.
why would women dislike me? Let's go back to what I just said. I had the most connections. With having the most connections, some of those connections were their connections. Why would they be angry? Why would they want to get with me? Because if I'm gone, then they don't have to worry about their connections. That's one point. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
let's look at the Golden Girls. Yes. Why we call them the Golden Girls? Because they sit around and gossip and eat. Okay. That's not disrespect. The Golden Girls are actually some cool people, but we do know what they did. They sat in two locations, the living room and the dining room, and they ate and they talked about people, right? So this is a
Pretty
situation.
much.
This is a situation. Um, Sabrina, we all know she broke down Tory, broke his little heart. We all know that. We saw it on TV. He said,
Mm-hmm.
"I'm out to go home" when she kissed Demetrius. Okay, I saw that. I'm new. I'm like, dang, that's messed up. There was a time that me, Precious, and Sabrina were in a bathroom. We had finished deliberation, and Sabrina was getting ready to go on a date with Tori. And she was like, "Oh my God, I'm going on a date with Tori. Oh gosh, this is right after the situation." Da, da, da. I said, "Sabrina, you should give Tori an apology." She looked at me like, "What?" I said, "You owe him an apology, girl. You hurt his feelings. Like you embarrassed him on TV." right? This is girl talk, right?
Yeah.
She was like, really? She kind of gave me the face like, ugh. And I was like, okay, just my opinion, right? Moving forward, there's probably a picture that you see of me, Demetrius, and Donovan. I have close relationships with them. This is during the journey. Now, mind you, y'all know I rub up on Paul's head right in front of Donovan and Demetrius.
Yeah.
I'll play with Demetrius' beard right in front of Paul and Donovan. I did not have secrets, but Sabrina didn't like that. She wants everything to be hidden so she can manipulate and conjure and say one thing to one person, another person, right? So why I say that is I had two of her men's. And in the picture where we have all the gray on, can you imagine her coming out in the kitchen? I had Donovan, I had Tori, and I had Demetrius. Okay. I had all three of them in the kitchen. We kikiing, laughing, having a good time. And she came around here looking like, look at this hussy. She got my men's. Da, 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 da. This is me. And yeah, that's the picture. This is during the the filming. So me, Demetrius, and Donovan hung out, even though I had connections with both of them. We were good friends. So why do these women like me? Don't dislike me is because I was in their way. And I was not backing down. I was not moving. Now, mind you, when it got to the end, the only after Clifton left, the only possibility that Dekia could have is Paul. Demetrius was not having Dekia. Never. Neither was Donovan. We're at the end. Clifton says, I'm going with Joy. Sabrina and I have Donovan and Demetrius, and I also still had Paul. Dekia, the only way she could stay is if she had somebody. The only option was Paul. So what she says is, I'm going to divide Carmen and Paul, and I'm going to put a seed in his head that Carmen really isn't here for love. She has an alliance with Donovan and Demetrius. Now, you all are very smart. Why would I need an alliance with them when I have three connections? I don't need an alliance. I have three connections. I'm not going anywhere. She had no connections at this point. Clifton was like, so the only way she could stay is if one of my connections. Now, why would Sabrina put this in Paul's head? Because I was in her way. Sabrina likes to have her men to herself. I did not allow that. So when I'm dancing with them, y'all see us having a good time. She like, damn. She would come out, look, go back in. She told Demetrius, why you keep hanging around with Carmen? Because that's my connection.
Now let me pause. Let me pause you right there. Let me just say something. And this is
not political, please.
This is not going to be political. Nah. So there was a point when we were out there, and Clifton and Joy came to me and was like, "Hey, what do you want to do about Carmen?" And they're like, she's really feeling you, man, and like, and actually they production made me and Clifton go to a room on the outside and film this so that they could have the conversation on tape, on camera. It never happened. I mean, you guys never saw it, but we did have the conversation on camera. And Clifton was like, so, what do you want to do about Carmen? Like, she's feeling you and she's just waiting for you to make your move. And me and Clifton had that conversation there. And then Joy, I saw her separately, and she was like, yeah, so what are you going to do about Carmen? You know what I'm saying? Like, it seems like, she's into you or whatever. And this was when we first got there. So it was supposed to be a woman's elimination, and it ended up turning out to be a man's elimination. And so, because I had that energy coming in there, after Joy made that statement to her, I stopped and I looked at Joy in her face. I was like, oh, well, when it comes to the men's lounge, she gonna be at my bottom. And then I walked off. Now, this is brand new. This is probably new revelation to Carmen too, because
Yeah.
so So I was like, yeah, I already came in there like on that, on that level because I'm like, oh hell no, you doing this, you doing that. Like, yeah, I'm this is it. This is a wrap. But one other thing I will say is like when we were at the table and like Carmen was rubbing my head and I was tearing that salad up and it looked like she was annoying the crap out of me. Um, what the backstory of that was we had spent all this time cooking this food and mind you, it's damn near turning into like the mixer where we only get to eat once
Oh Lord,
in 16
not
hours.
looking no food.
And they only gave us like one chicken wing, one chicken drum piece and some celery. That's what we had for at the mixer for dinner. So it felt like that, and I was pissed off. So I did go off on production. I'm like, yo, I'm not feeling this right now. Like we made all this food, y'all trying to set up cameras just to look at the food. Like I'm starving. It ain't like Domino's is right around the corner where we was at. We was in the cut. And so they were like, because if you notice, I was the only person eating at the table.
Right.
And I was pissed at that time. So they were saying,
gave me attitude.
Right. So they were saying, well, all right, well, how about we let you get a salad before we bring the food out? Would that be okay? And I was like, yeah, I need something, and so Carmen came over actually to try to reduce that anger, try to bring me down. And I was like actually irritated already by production. So they slid that scene in there to make it look like, Carmen, I don't want to have nothing to do with you. But it was really, she was actually trying to come over. You feel what I'm saying? Right. That's why I was like, I was eating the salad. Because for one, everybody was like, he making that salad look good. But yeah, that's because I ain't eating in like 15 hours.
But Paul, I need you to keep it real. Ask you a question. You need to be and stop playing this political stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because I will get on your ass. Listen, do you feel that you were told that stuff about this alliance stuff to break up our connection? Do you feel Dekia and Sabrina did that intentionally to break up our connection?
I feel like it was done to invalidate you and all of your connections.
But the question is why? Why is there so much to conspire against Carmen? That is really the question. Why is it that these women, and I'm not gonna say all the women, these 3 women were conspiring against? You didn't have any problem with anybody else. I mean, I know you were close to Joy, but you didn't have any issue with any other woman. It was just these 3, correct?
Me, yes.
Okay. So what was the basis of, because it seems like the way certain people move, they want to conspire to bring you down and try to stop your bag, your brand, or whatever. So I was just curious to know why. Why do you think you're gonna win that?
I do not.
I'm just saying.
I do not perform. I'm not intimidated when I walk in a room. I know my worth. And so even to this day, when they run in their mouth, it's not going to stop my bag.
100%.
Bag. And, people need to grow up. And the whole alliance thing that was brought up, it was a simple conversation that she's either trying to manipulate or she is not educated enough to know maybe she need to go through adolescence before she talked to a grown woman. Because I told her after she treated Tori that way, I said, we have 2 connections that are the same. She called them the D's. And I said, I have a son and I want to remain friends with these men. So at some point, there needs to be a woman-to-woman conversation if we choose one of these 2 men, meaning Demetrius or Donovan, because we need to handle these men with care. I had seen how Eric had been handled. I had seen how Tori had been handled. I said, they have pride, ego. I want to make sure I handle these men with care. So I said, at some point when we get to the end, if I don't choose Paul and I choose between Demetrius and Donovan, if we pick the same guy, we got to handle that other man. I said, yes, I want to remain friends. Now, mind you, my proven point, at this day, I am friends with Paul, Demetrius, and Donovan, and Eric. She is not friends with any of the men because she did not handle them correctly. Donovan and I chose each other. She still did not pick Demetrius. You had no other choice. You had started with Demetrius from day one. So I will not conform to these women. I will not um, bring myself down to their level. And we don't ever have to be friends. But what I do, I'm loyal. Paul will tell you this. I am loyal. And if I care for someone, I take care of them and I respect them. And they don't know how to do that. From Precious cussing out Demetrius,
Mm.
right? From Sabrina making Demetrius look like, you know what I'm saying, he's not a
Yes.
man. From talking about Donovan's fingernails and talking about he's not ready to love. I mean, Dekia treating these men this way, turning on them very quickly. I'm not that. So they don't like me because I'm not going to be in the good old girls committee. No, I give respect when it is deserved, and that is it.
Yes. Yes. I want to ask you because of the connections. When did you know that it was Donovan? Because you did have different connections. When did you actually know this is it?
Honey, oh my God. At the retreat, now mind you, you have to understand, they've stated this very clearly. I came on late. I didn't meet my last three connections until the pool party at the very same time. You heard them say, Paul here, Demetrius here. And I did it right in front of them. Okay, here, put my phone number. Okay. And every one of the men, not trying to be like political, I feel are amazing in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
People didn't understand Paul. I understand Paul. I think he has a quirky sense of humor, and we can talk on the phone for hours. Okay. Demetrius, we are prior military. We're very regimented. We believe in motivational speaking. We believe in speaking into each other. We are very compassionate, but we're leery of people. We have great communication. Donovan makes me laugh. You know what I'm saying? And he is just as petty as I am sometimes. And I'm like, hey, no, I can find somebody as petty as me. What? I talked to Joy and Clifton, and let me clarify this. Joy and I did not become friends until after the journey. So Sabrina, go ahead and keep telling your lies. There's a lie out there that we had an alliance too. Never brought up at the reunion, but we
Yeah.
made sure to the end.
You know what? Can I just say something real quick on that? And
Yeah.
I just want I want this to be very clear. All right. Joy, because I heard Sabrina say that Joy and Clifton had an alliance. And I'm just going to just say this. It didn't matter what Joy did. Joy could have been, whatever the hell she wanted to do on the show. Joy was going to make it to the end because production saw that natural love story that was created, which was genuine, which was the only one that started from the very beginning. And they wanted to tell that story because even, and no disrespect to Joy, Joy's attractive, but none of the men wanted her in their tops, not because she was, not worthy, but because everybody saw such a strong connection between her and Clifton. It was like, you mean you're going to make me go through this ringer? I got to go through this ring. I'm not doing that. I already know what it is. And production knew what it was too. And they knew what it was so much that the day that Precious got eliminated, Joy actually had more votes to leave than Precious, right? The thing is, though, is that they were looking at the totality of the story. How long will Precious really, how long could Precious really impress the American people given, the way that they edited her and all of that stuff? How would this really pan out into a real story? So production decided that Precious had to be the one to leave because they wanted to tell the story between Joy and Clifton. So there was no real alliance needed. Joy didn't have any of the men, in the lounge picking her.
Yeah, everybody,
So
Joy and Clifton were together.
right,
So the situation,
right,
I told y'all when I came in and I seen her jump around me and kiss right in my face. I said, well, damn.
right. So
Okay,
yeah,
this is real. So nobody was like, I wonder who Joy and Clifton gonna be with. We
right,
from day one.
right. And then Clifton I mean, other than Dekia, I don't think he had anybody else in the ladies' lounge picking him because they knew that he was connected to Joy. And
Yeah.
if you look at it from a story writer's perspective, the producers, they have to produce something to make people believe in the show that it works. And it just so happened that they had an organic thing that they didn't have to
They
really
did.
produce. They didn't have to do anything to tell that story. The story told itself. And even though Joy was up for the elimination that one time, production knew that if we got rid of Joy, we lose Clifton, and then we lose the whole damn show.
Well, and
So,
Misha, that text message that I sent you. So Sabrina on another interview had said Carmen and Joy are friends, and they had this alliance. That text message. So they put two people in charge of the weekend meal list, right? Weekend trip, and Joy was in charge of breakfast. And so they said, everybody send Joy your breakfast list of what you want. This is probably like, think October like 16th or something like that, right? We finished filming, I think November 3rd, right? So this is like maybe 2 weeks after we were done. And so if you see, I sent my list of breakfast items. Listen, this is how not friends we was. Joy gave me the thumbs up. She didn't say, okay, girl, all right, babe. No, girl, she gave me the thumbs up. And November 10th, she says, boom, okay, I do. Didn't lock it in. So she didn't even have my number locked in. That's how we're not friends. Because, you friend, you lock it in. That's Carmen. She didn't have my number locked in. That's November 10th. We finished on November 3rd. So save your lies to somebody else. I will bring
Ooh.
playing with you. Yes. Receipt. Thank you. And that's not, I'm not angry, but don't play me. You know what I'm saying? Do not play me with these lies of now all of a sudden. Why wasn't that brought up at the reunion? Why didn't you say we had an alliance? All of a sudden, we have an alliance. We don't need an alliance. What's upsetting is that you have two people who have found love and are trying to start our journey. And because you didn't find love, you want to poke holes in us. Instead of saying, I'm happy for you, congratulations, I wish you the best. Black people, we don't need to always poke at each other. The show is about love, okay? And if you want to put all these bodies on me, I'll take it. I'll be the queen pin. I'll write a book about it, right, Paul?
Yeah, and I'm gonna write and I'm gonna co-sign that book.
Oh, not the book.
but so let me just say this because I got to get ready to get out of here.
Okay.
But I will say this. I think that from the very beginning, like after watching Houston, after watching Atlanta, I did not expect this type of a kerfuffle of a show. I thought that they were really going to challenge Black people to really, build organic love scenes and things like that. But I think that, in the midst of them trying to produce a show, I think they really tore the tore the fabric of what Black love looks like. And, it's very unfortunate that, most of us didn't expect this sort of outcome and all of the mess and fallout from afterwards. Do you know what I mean? It just really, it's really disheartening. But listen, thanks for having me, and let me jump on here off the cuff. You guys take care. I'll still be listening, but I'll be doing my work too. So I'll see y'all later.
Bye-bye.
All right,
Bye,
Paul.
Paul.
All right, see you.
Hey, Mama. What's up, Joy?
Hi, Kamisha. Hi, Carmen.
Hey.
Girl, is that cup big enough?
Girl,
For real.
girl, I gotta have my coffee now.
I already know it. Hey, I just put up our Kamisha just put up our text message when we first even had conversations since we had this, and girl, I'm gonna bring the receipts. Keep playing with me.
Well, I mean, look, I'm amazed and flabbergasted in so many ways, but All I have to say, everyone can believe what they want. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Love wins. Bang bang.
100%. 100%. And we all happy to see that. I don't know why they all trying to say like y'all said. This is a November the 10th. Y'all said boom. There was a it did not look like y'all was doing some kind of conspiracy or best friends or nothing.
No, Carmen and I really did not really connect until after the show.
The date's proving it
They,
right here. I mean, y'all were talking about food. It wasn't like, ooh, girl, it wasn't none of that. They met
right.
up
I
on the
was in
scene.
charge. I was in charge of getting the grocery list for breakfast.
Look, she was coy and was like, I said, here's what I want. I was like, that's how close we was. She didn't even say, okay, girl. She was like, got it.
Right. She did. I didn't lock it in, but got it. Like, oh, I just straight told you. I didn't have you locked in, but I got you now. Like, oh, okay.
Right,
Right.
exactly. Exactly. It's amazing. It's what have y'all been talking about? Hi, Kamisha. I'm so happy to see you.
Yes. Hello, mama. We've been talking. Well, she was not trying. She been pretty much just shutting down pretty much everything from the Golden Girls with their mess and how I pretty much said, why is it? And the question I asked, why is it all the women were coming for Carmen? Where it just seemed like there was no kind of unity. I didn't really see that. Even just being a blogger and dealing with the ladies that are on there, I'm gonna specifically say the Golden Girls,
Hmm.
messy. I'll say that
Hmm.
on my live, messy. And I just don't understand why it had to be like that. When I see you guys as a natural, organic, we ladies, we doing whatever. I I,
Hmm.
I just don't understand why they were coming for her and for you too, low key.
But
I
Joy,
don't really know. Hmm?
Joy, what do you think that they are coming for you and Clifton's relationship at this point? Because I am taking back from the reunion, none of this stuff being said to it said after the scenes. What do you think it's about?
I'm not quite sure. Part of me feels as though it's better to move forward in interviews based upon like using the leverage of what the audience saw, right? So if the audience sees me as uh, a bully or this or da 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 da, it'd be very difficult to change the audience's mind. So it's easy to kind of add these other things because the audience is like, well, yeah, because Joy went off on such and such at the reunion. That's how she is. That's the person she is. So you know what? We're going to sit here and throw these other things in
Mm-hmm.
there because truth be told, I mean, for all of us, a lot of what we're hearing is extremely new. But if they want to keep my name in their mouth, okay, fine. I'm happy
Maybe.
over here. And it's I'm not, what's the point of defending? I
Mhm.
there's nothing I can say to change the audience's mind. There's nothing I could possibly say. Believe if you believe what comes out of, a classy woman who has amazing gag reflex, if you believe everything that
Oh.
comes out of her mouth, okay. I mean, she did say that. Those were her words.
Yes, she did.
She did say that. She did.
Big difference.
You,
Big difference.
so if she said it, if the other one said it, it must be true.
It
It must be true.
didn't come out of her mouth now. Okay.
Well,
It must be true from an edited reality show. It must be true.
100%. And they cannot blame you because you didn't even say it. You didn't say it. She said it. You can't take it back. Period. But that's so classy.
You
So
know.
well, I will say this. If a woman comes up to me or anyway says, I'm gonna take your man, aka Donovan, I'm gonna have words. I don't understand how the other women in America say, well, that's not worth being upset with. I'm gonna get upset. I'm gonna have
so
a
can Yeah. Can I just to provide a certain level of clarity, um, you know, that taking of the man, you know how someone says something jokingly, but they mean it. You know, they put the little laughing emoji at the end. That was how that situation was. You know, we sat there and, uh, you know, just chilling by the bar. As a couple of people from production, and you know, we're just you know, just chopping it up, and you know, somewhere along the lines, it's like, you know, yeah, girl, I saw you walking Eric across the bonfire, and she was like, yeah, I had to grab onto somebody because I was gonna take Clifton away from you. Ha 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 ha. So we all chopping it up, right? But again, regardless of the context, uh there's nothing for me to truthfully find that funny, because I wouldn't have said that jokingly. That's just me. That's how I work and process. You know, but again, I sensed a lot of truth in that line, because didn't find it funny, but to be cordial and polite and in the moment, yeah, I chuckled, because I'm like, okay, I see you. You know, okay, you know, noted. Um, the past, all of this, everything that has happened with the show, that was the past. The show ended, you know, end of October. I think I'm more bothered by what's being said now.
Fans Panel Lounge. I'm not here to change anybody's minds. It is up to that individual to change their minds. This is my platform as a blogger. I give my commentary and I have interviews, and it's an open forum for anybody who wants to give an opinion. But I'm not going to change anybody's mind. And if they have a mindset for something, me doing an interview is not going to necessarily change that. Them representing themselves is going to change that person. So please don't put that on me, honey.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
I mean, yeah,
So no, ma'am, we're not going to do that.
yeah, it's just
I
what's
can't.
been being
Me coming
said
up.
now. Oh,
I'm
what'd you say,
sorry. I just
Kamisha?
the comment. No, the comment that she made saying that I'm not going to change my. What are you talking about? Like, let's not do that. I'm letting them. She's speaking on my platform, and anybody is free to come on here, and that includes the kid. But you know she's not coming up here. So for them, all those who saying bring the key up here, she would never click that link. She would never bring herself up here and head herself to accountability. None of that would happen. And if you say I'm
I
not
have,
being biased,
yeah.
fine. I have personal reasons why I feel this way. So it's what it
I mean,
is.
it's very easy. It's very easy to say things on a screen and not in front of someone's face. If a lot of these things did happen, why didn't you say it then? Why weren't you adult enough to address those things in front of everyone else? You know, um, these things are a bit of a surprise, and it's like, okay, but if that's what they choose to say and share, right now, based upon how the audience is, extremely easy to it's extremely easy to paint me as the mean girl. It is easy to call me, it is easy to, off of that, to say that I am a bully. It is easy for the audience to truly believe that. But outside of her and her other friend, who else is saying that about me on the cast? I don't care about the audience. You guys got, you know, an altered reality. I'm talking about on the cast. Who else is going to sit here and say that I was a mean girl, that I was sitting here that no, the information I gave, I never inserted I didn't insert my opinion on people's connections. What I did was provide a bit of advice, because I talk to the men every day, because I'm getting their, you know, how they feel about the process, how they feel they're not able to connect because the communication is lacking. So when we're all, you know, having a conversation, I say to them, you guys are going to have to step outside of your comfort zone and do something different before, you know, other than before you came into the process. I'm giving you advice. I said, these men don't even know you like them because of the lack of communication. You get what I'm saying? But now it's interpreted that, you know, yes, I'm loud, I'm a singer, I speak from my chest. But the message was extremely clear. The message was, ladies, you need to step up and reach out and communicate more with the men. Now, it got interpreted in some form or fashion that Joy's telling the ladies what to do. You know, this is no different than how people watch the show. people are going to see what they want to see and hear what they want to hear. They're going to interpret and receive it how they want. But if that's making me a certain way, okay, cool, fine. You know, I can't change that. You know, my tone is my tone, but understand it never comes with ill intent or lies. One thing I will never do is lie to you. Anyone that knows me knows that I am blunt, I am upfront, but I don't play with bullshit. That's just not the type of person I am. Um,
Well, and then I think, Joy, I think the audience needs to understand this, and I've learned this as this journey has gone on. I really didn't know, but I see it now. When in these platforms, if a man talks too much and goes back and forth and gives his opinion, he's being messy, or
mhm,
dare him argue with this woman. So
mhm,
almost forces a man to be quiet because he doesn't want to be deemed to be argumentative or like aggressive by voicing
mhm,
his opinion. But us
mhm,
women could see it and be like, no, I saw that. And like when Joy was like, we all thought you were gonna pick Tory. It wasn't us trying to egg anything on. We was like, oh, you going over to Tory? And she was like, Demetrius. And I had just got there. So I had heard her say too, Tory, Tory, Tory. I didn't even know she said Demetrius. So I was like, oh, maybe I was,
mhm,
you know. So when Joy was like, go, go, go hit, Tory, get ready, it was like a happy, like, you know what I'm saying, thing. It wasn't
Right.
like forcing you to go to the opposite. So we all were confused. But it goes
mhm,
right back to Sabrina did her stuff behind the scenes. Maybe her and Demetrius were growing, but we didn't know it because in the women's lounge, she was saying Tory. So
mhm.
you're like looking, and she didn't do that. But then she got mad, almost like we told on her. Like Joy told on her, like, Joy, you instigated it. No, she didn't instigate it. We were just
We all thought it to be true, and the rest of the cast would
you
say the same thing.
know,
Tommy even said it. Tori even said it. So it's not like there's a mention of, and for Joy to add insult to injury. No, regardless of whether I said something or not, the result was still the same. You still nibbled on his ear. So whether I said anything or not, you made that decision. That was your choice. And I have jokingly said this before. If you didn't want to show your hand, you should have kissed Precious's, should have nibbled on Precious or somebody on one of the women. You know what I'm saying? If you didn't want to show your hand. So it's not insult to injury. But when you said my name, when you said with Joy to add insult to injury, that was a cue. That was a cue for Joy to speak. I'm talking about the reunion. That was a
Right.
cue because you said my name and I'm
Mm-hmm.
here. So I'm going to address it. And I didn't go at her. She popped off at me, her tone, her body language, her energy. I'm thinking like, I've never had a problem with you.
well, she found out that
I
day.
didn't,
Didn't you know?
well, no, I found out that day. I never knew I had an issue with her. I never
No,
knew that.
people didn't. People, Joy. I'm telling you guys, Joy in the women's lounge. We came in there like business. Came in there with our little
Mhm,
bag of makeup. Okay, Carmen first. Joy, come out. We did not talk. So people really don't know people's personalities, really. So Joy has been
mhm,
the whole time business. Okay, you come in, Clifton. Who you like, Joy? Clifton. Who you like, Joy? Every day it was Clifton. I was like, you know, Clifton, right? And so no one knew that Joy had that voice. So, and even the audience didn't know. So when she said,
mhm.
hold up, they're like, who is this Joy right here? Well, that Joy was always there, but you didn't have to say it because you were never put in a position to be
Right,
that Joy.
right, right.
And we all have that other side where if you push me,
Mhm,
talk about my baby, you talk about
mhm,
family or my money, we're gonna have problems.
mhm.
But if you
And
stay,
those sides, yeah, those sides aren't bad sides. You get
no,
what I'm saying?
Right.
Um,
Abby, she
I
wanted
have a, I, mhm.
to target.
Abby is a trip.
Yes.
Abby is a trip. Abby, because what Abby said, she was like, Joy, you better than me because I choose violence.
Yeah. She when we talked about this, she was like, I couldn't do it. Any woman in the world, I do not care in what planet you on, what language, whatever. If a woman
Mhm,
says, I take your man, I don't care if it's with and joking way, lightweight shade.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in Louisiana and Texas, baby, I'm telling you, there will be no conversation. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm
I
just
mean, that
telling you.
wasn't the only, that was, and the thing is, that wasn't the only time. You get what I'm saying? So
Well,
the
let
other,
me
mm-hmm,
survive on there. There was a second time that I was there, and
mm-hmm,
Cliff this, but he didn't mention everybody. There was a time that it was at the weekend getaway when we had our deliberation and we sent Tori home, and it was Tommy, me, Joy, Dekia, and Sabrina, and I still had top three, and Tommy was fighting with me. Well, who do you want? I said I don't know. I want them all. Who do you want? Demetrius, Paul, and Paul, Demetrius, and Donovan. Like I would switch it. And so finally he said, well, who is your bottom? And I said, Tori, because, I really don't know him that well.
mm-hmm.
And he said, one more. Well, the only last person was Clifton. And I said, I'm not saying another name. And Tommy was like, Carmen, who else? I said, I'm not saying that. He's like, why won't you say Clifton? And I said, because he's with Joy and they have a real connection. I'm not going to put him at my bottom. And so me and Tommy are going back and forth. And he's like, well, what if Joy wasn't here, Carmen? I said, but Joy is here. So we're not going to play that game, Tommy. And he was like, but what if Joy wasn't here? What would you do with Clifton? And before I could open my mouth, Miss Bang over there,
Hmm.
Kia says, if Joy wasn't here, he'd be mine. He'd be all mine. And I said, well, we all have dreams and some of us are delusional. Okay. They didn't put that on the camera, but she would always, and I felt it was disrespectful because here this woman is here in love with Clifton, and they're trying to make me say I would be with Clifton if Joy wasn't here, but Joy is here. Okay. And I'm seeing this woman in love with Clifton. Why would I say I would want to be with Clifton? But in that moment when Tommy was talking to me, the kid inserted herself and said he would have been mine. And I'm like, oh, you bold. But I said, well, some of us have dreams, and some of us are delusional. You know what I'm saying? But she always try to come and keep talking about Clifton in front of Joy in a disrespectful, slick way. You know,
Abby said, what I said was, I can say, she said, I could take your man. My response would be, it would have
I
been,
can take your life. What's your point?
I cannot with Abby.
Oh my God. The
I'm like,
other, the other, the other instance happened, show's over, it's done, and people are having whatever. There's some get together. Now, mind you, I'm in Mexico, so but multiple people came back and shared uh, a comment of not just a woman or a man, like multiple people. And, she mentioned something like, yeah, I'm a fuck with Clifton while Joy is in Mexico. Something like that. Again, whether that was out of context or not.
meaner than that, girl. You being so nice.
I'm obviously being extremely nice,
think
but
you're being,
I know, but I'm gonna answer Maud's question. Maud asked, did we have lunch after the show ended? No. We had a production lunch that was planned, that had cameras and everything, had no clue. We show up at a place in I show up at a place in DC. Asking the producer, why am I here? And they're like, oh, you're here to talk with her. And I'm like, why? This is after the retreat. So we didn't have a girls moment of a key he or this and this. I've never spoken to her on the phone.
right.
So this is, us, this date was a production date. It was something that was planned, nothing in which we planned ourselves. And then let me just nip a couple of other things out, out the, but we never spoke at the reunion. I made a conscious effort to not speak nor make eye contact to the Golden Girls. You know, she did not get Clifton's phone number at the mixer. She got his number on their first date, which was immediately after the brunch. Clifton got my number See, the guys didn't even know that they could exchange numbers until they were at the brunch.
Okay.
Clifton
Wow.
got my number, and that was on camera. That whole the sipping of the champagne and this and this and this, that's when Clifton got my phone number.
What does it say? Okay, so this reality show Binger said just because his connections was stronger with Joy doesn't mean Dekia had to back off. That's why people were mad with the deal.
So this is the thing, and I understand what the audience saw. I'm going to tell you what we experienced. We do not plan any of the dates, nor do we plan who we go out with. So what you're seeing is production showing everyone on these dates. These dates are forced. You are put on dates with most likely someone you didn't necessarily want to go on a date with. Understand this. They need footage. They need footage for the storyline. The storyline, which we didn't know until the reunion, was a love triangle. That's why I laughed and said, oh, good edit. Because we had no clue until the reunion that what you guys were going to see was a love triangle.
You had no idea. That was all just...
We had no clue. Because in my mind, in Clifton's mind, and everybody, we were like, oh, this is a beautiful love story. Like, oh, see how it grow and this and the fun and we had no clue till we saw that clip at the reunion. And yeah, I said good edit because I was flabbergasted. I was like, oh, this is what we doing. But that wasn't our reality.
Clifton, we all have different personalities, right? Like Joy is bubbly. Once y'all get to know Joy, you will want to watch her every day. Like when I got to know her, I'm like, damn, I was missing out on this all this time. But one thing about Clifton is he's honest. He told me about Joy from day one. And I was like I said, I was like, okay, whatever. Until I seen it in my face, I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to just go stage left. You know what I'm saying? But one thing is, he's bubbly. Clifton's bubbly, and he's flirtatious. So him flirting with her, that's what he does. It wasn't like he was giving her extra attention. You know what I'm saying? When we were on a date, we were flirting, kidding, and stuff like that. That's his personality. Mm-hmm. But no. Because I had a situation with my ex-husband. He would go in the bank and get his check cashed, and this older woman would be like, hey, Miss Jessie, you look good today. Miss Jessie thought my husband was going to take her and go off into the sunset. All have those individuals who will take something magnified, right? Just, you know what I'm saying? You smell good today. You go home, girl, he said, I smell good. He's trying to be nice. That's his personality.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to minimize Dekia. What I'm trying to do is illustrate and help you all understand that this is how Clifton is with everyone. Okay.
But we all, like all of the dates, again, since we don't plan them, everybody we're not assholes. You know what I'm saying? We're going to go and try to make the most of the situation, have a good time, chop it up, be funny, crack jokes. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to do that because why not? Why sit here and be like, okay, I can't fucking stand you. I really don't want to do this. I don't want to be here with you. I don't like you. No. If we're all here open, and unfortunately we can't change it right now. Tons of money being spent on cameras to roll, you know, everyone's being nice. Everybody is just, you know what I mean? Like everyone's showing a certain level of decorum. Clifton said it was a business arrangement. If so, why were you? Okay, so it wasn't like a business arrangement. The bottom line is early on in the actions is very much the interest definitely was Eric.
Okay.
You know, and it was very obvious that that's what the case was. Right. Time goes on, Eric is gone, and there's a moment that her and I are talking, and I think it was at the retreat. Was that the retreat? I forgot where it was. But whatever, something she was like, well, you know, I think I'm going home, blah, 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 blah. And I said, girl, don't worry about it. Clifton got you.
Uh,
talking about in the votes. Like, don't worry, Clifton got. So it was like you knew it's me and Clifton. You knew, like, I could say Clifton, you know, keep her in the rankings so she could still stay. You get what I'm saying? So she knew this was, you know,
So
she
they
knew
were
there was no. Hmm?
was.
reunion. So it was like she knew, like she should have
Hmm.
been. And you were saying, don't worry about it. Clifton got you.
Hmm.
So
Right.
oh, reunion. Why now are you acting like there was a relationship when you knew you was
Yes.
on and
Right.
was trying to help you out as like an associate? Like, I got you, girl. Don't worry about it. But in your mind, why are you worried about it? Because you know if you're supposed to be going home, go. Bye.
Mhm.
Bye.
And technically, statistically, going into the retreat, she technically would have been the one going home because it was supposed to be a female going home, but Tina didn't show up. So number
Yeah.
wise, you know, it was a guy. But technically, she would have been the one going home because
I
even if Tina showed up, Tina had more connections.
I said that. I
Yeah.
said she would have gone home and nobody believed me. I said, I'm telling you
She's.
guys, she would have gone home.
Hmm.
Mm,
Hmm.
mm, mm. Yep. I knew it.
You know.
I
Mhm.
didn't know it like I knew it. But to me, when I added everything about said, y'all don't understand if the arrangements wasn't done the way it was done, she would have gone home. And everybody was like, no, no, no. She had connections. I was like, okay,
No,
where?
she didn't. She didn't. I mean, if you ask, if you know, you can definitely ask the men, you know, where she was in the men's lounge. And other than Eric, she was Eric was really the only time she was number one until she wasn't.
And
Everybody really was upset about. Wait, hold on. They said Clifton was talking to her every other day. It was more than an arrangement. He
No, he
played both.
wasn't. No, okay, so this is the thing. So you know how people say, you know how people say, oh, well, I have connections. I have a lot of, you know, we connect, we connect, blah, blah, blah. We talk on the phone. Well, guess what? A lot of us talk on the phone. But what are you talking about?
Mm,
You understand what I'm saying? We all talk on the phone. You could say, I went on a lot of dates. We all went on a lot of dates. That means nothing because we don't plan the date. We don't plan who we go with. We are literally like, maneuver like rats. You know what I'm saying? Put, just like a science experiment. Okay, let's put these in here and figure out, how we're going to tell the story that was already written for us. You know what I'm saying? So you have, for me, justify how deep, you know, justify how deep that connection is, because what I said at the reunion is that you didn't have that kind of connection with him. You didn't even know his favorite color, and this is about a best friend's date. That's cut out. You don't hear that part.
this time
How
I
about a
guess on
best friend's date? How about a
she's talking
best
about
friend's date? You don't know anything as simple as the man's favorite color. You don't know his favorite color. You don't know his favorite artist. You don't know how he likes his pancakes. You don't know his favorite drink. You don't know any of that stuff, but you had a strong connection. That was what I was debunking during the reunion. And that's why all that stuff was being cut out. The only reason she circled back was because she had no connections after Eric. And so she needed, for some apparent reason, the need to still stay because, contract, whatever, people left. And if you really wanted to go, you could go. If you really didn't want to be there, you could leave because
really.
people did. You understand? Yes, you can.
well,
The
the thing about
self elimination.
it,
Go ahead.
if people who want to feel like, oh, I don't look at
That's
the
interesting.
look at simple numbers.
That's
It's
interesting.
based on connections.
Mhm.
If she only had Eric, okay, and that's not enough for a person to stay on. Okay. Then then when Eric was gone, she only had Clifton. Clifton said, I'm going with Joy. At that point, Paul really wasn't really on her radar.
Paul was never
Why
on her radar. That was
stay?
straight by default.
Why would you stay? And then y'all saw at the end that they didn't go together. So let's just be honest. If we look at it just factually, take our personalities out of the picture and look at this factually, and you still come up with the same conclusion, we need to go to school again. We need to go take some algebra classes, some mathematics, okay? We are stating facts and we are stating numbers, okay? And take our personalities out of this is how it should have been.
Yeah. EB, you know, everybody knows everybody knows us. They know exactly who we are. They know us better than we do. And I'm I just want to say thank you for everyone being so invested in the show. Thank you for the comments, negatively and positively.
Right.
Thank you for telling us about ourselves.
Mm.
Thank you for having so much emotion, um and riling you up with all this spirit. Like, thank you guys so much. But also remember, this was television, and it is up to you to choose whether there was another possibility or something more. It is up to you to be open to receive that it could have been something different, it could have been something more. Because truth be told, we all know. So the horse is right here. The horse is right. Hold on, I'm trying to get the hand right. The horse is right
Mm.
here and
Mm.
here. Wait, can't get it. I'm trying to point to Carmen. You know,
That
they.
is hard.
It doesn't matter what we say. You will choose not to believe our truth, because the thing is, you, the audience, got an altered reality. We're talking about the reality, and no one thinks that anything is different from what you saw, and it's okay. It's absolutely fine. This is the fight we will never win. We will never win, but I will not continue to put the focus on what's being said currently, because that stuff should have been said way before. It's very difficult to believe uh, anything. Again, I don't have a connection. I never had a connection with them. We were not friends. We never talked on the phone. And that's absolutely fine. But Carmen, you and I built our friendship off of being, I don't want to say ostracized, like kind of pushed away, but we built our friendship because we kind of was separated. Didn't really realize it at the time, because we're treating the whole show like, you're coming in for work. But there's something in us. We recognize several things we have in common. We have so much respect for the men on this show. We came on this show with a purpose. We came on this show trying to, find our future, someone we want to move forward in life with, you know. Um, that's something we had in common. That, and also we're very upfront. We're blunt. We're not about the BS, but it took us being pushed away from the BS to notice, like, that's what pushed us together. The BS pushed me and Carmen together on top of Clifton, because Clifton was like, I talked to Carmen more than I talked to the kid. Carmen is cool as I don't know what. Joy, you would really like Carmen. You know what I'm saying? This is Clifton saying this to me, you know? But it took having to get out of the process to really connect with Carmen for us to really get that 360 degree and realize the part that people were playing. Because, I had on blinders. I didn't know a lot of the things that were going on. I had no clue. I didn't know people's intentions or anything like that.
I would have never
You
thought some of the ways. It almost hurts your soul a little bit to see how people will manipulate things and how people feel that after the rejection, I will try to say things to bring down someone else. I mean, you're right. We didn't form a relationship. I think it's almost kind of the best way. We formed a relationship outside, meaning
yeah.
we could be true to ourselves and not have any, thing that's, hindering us. But also, you're right. We were pushed. If people don't know, when they have all these brunches and these women's get-togethers, they don't invite Joy and I. The two people who went to the then 5 and 6 or 4 and 5, however they want to say it, get-togethers, we are not invited. We're not asked. We're not. There's no DMs. There's no text. Why are the two women who went to the end and found love? Why aren't they included in these group women, you know, seminars and events and empowerment? It's like, what did we do? Because we found love, we're going to be pushed out. So, you know, during those processes, we got to talk, and it's not like I said, I don't have a problem really with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wish them the best. And I wish them happiness. And hopefully when you're happy, you don't have to have my name in your mouth. Okay.
Exactly.
Because that we're having is just to rectify lies. Other than
Mm-hmm.
that, I give two shits about what they doing.
Right.
Happy. Didn't know
Right.
them 6 months ago. And it's okay not to know them now. I
They
don't wish
both
them back.
found love. They both found love. Both
Yeah.
these ladies found love. So I don't understand that statement. You finding Donovan? I know that this was we Joy and Clifton was like boom, we knew it. But the two of you guys, it was a surprise to me. Now I remember I watched Instagram Live. I was kind of like, you're kind of close, but you were close to everybody, so I could not just say, okay, that's going to be her and him. It kind
Mm-hmm.
of to me, I could,
Producers. Oh, I'm gonna put it out there. Y'all don't who I'm gonna bet. You know, I was trying to be fun, but it's hard starting this journey later because Donovan didn't come on to the 4th episode. I didn't meet him until the 5th episode. That's halfway the season. And this expectation is to be great, but we had to go on dates with everybody else too.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then editing, so it puts this huge cloud over us, like you all have to do this, have to do that, have to do this when we're curveballs, when we're blind dates.
Mm-hmm.
And so like a pressure and from them to say, well, we didn't see it. Well, damn, we didn't really go on our first date till the 5th or 6th week.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what did you expect? And they forget
everybody
that. But at the
baby.
I got to in Clifton because I'm like, damn, I didn't see that. So a lot of the stuff that y'all seeing, we seen it for the first time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I got to go through the experience with Joy and Clifton and, you know, Demetrius and Sabrina and all them and see things. And I'm like, oh, okay, now I understand some of the things. But there was a lot behind the scenes that we didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is the thing. You ladies, to me, I'm gonna say this. I feel like that you guys got a lot of hate, even in my chat.
You think?
A lot. The thing about it, you guys, I really truly you strong with it. I get it. To be like you guys talking about the managed thing, that's something I'm used to hearing by myself. A woman can be aggressive, she can be strong. You got all these negative things to say. I love the confidence. They walk in it, they sit in it every day. And a lot of you guys can't handle it. They can't handle that shine. You know,
It is uncomfortable.
They're not weak. They're not meek. You know, they're strong. And I identify with that. That's probably why people say I'm biased. That's probably why I did identify with them. I've been in that position my entire life, and I don't care. So for everybody being so negative, y'all don't see the positive things that happen. These two found love. Look at the dates of when Carmen was with Donovan. That was Christmas. That was last year. So we didn't know anything that was going on with these couples, and they obviously were going strong. They're still going strong. Why not see the positivity in that? And y'all trip because Joy went off on Dekia. It's almost like y'all are saying I'm being biased, but you guys are being biased with Dekia. Y'all don't see any wrong with Dekia ever. She walks on water, but Carmen and Joy are the villains. I don't see that, and that's just me giving my opinion. I had to say it. Well, I think negativity. I'm like, I don't get it.
Kamisha, I think something that I think I was asked members about, and I don't know where everybody is from, you know, that the fans watching us, but the DMV, we're the creme de la creme. We have doctors here, we have lawyers here, we have politicians. So all of us on this cast are very successful. Okay. But we never really talked about our jobs. At least I really didn't. A little bit, but not. So I know a lot of people say, you know, I feel like certain people talked about their positions and their jobs, but what's on paper and your resume does not and I get that from Joy, does not equate to you being the best partner for the next person. So just because I work with athletes don't mean that I'm going to be the best person. Just because Dekia works for NASA does not mean that she's an amazing person. Those things are on paper. And we have in the DMV some of the most successful Black men and women ever. So it does not matter what you do, it's what's inside. And people aren't seeing that. They're seeing what's on paper and what's on TV. And
Right.
understand, why did they have connection with that person? That person seems like that. Well, they edited that person to be like that.
What did they call it? Favorable editing? Because I mean, truthfully, I mean, shoot, everybody liked me. Everybody liked me up until the reunion. But think about it, just for like 1 second. Just think about it. Why would I go off on you? You only. Why? There has to be something more. There has to be something more. There is a level of, you know, what did I say the other night? I said self-deception, you know, that is amazing. We don't know these people. We don't know these women. We didn't know these guys. But the thing is, I know the guys more because I spoke to them more. I still have friendships and rapport with them now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't have this with the women. I don't know these women. I don't know them at all. I couldn't tell you anything personal or on the you know, I can't even scratch the surface. I don't know these women, just like they don't know me at all. But what is difficult for me and what's disappointing is that, you know, the show ended the end of, you know, October. The reunion was in February. We are now in May. Why all this negativity? Why all of this, you know, why are you moving? Why are you leveraging what you saw on what the audience saw on TV to sit here and push a certain narrative or to say something about me? Now, I thought everybody was happy. I thought everybody had moved on. I thought, you know what I'm saying? My personality or my experience has nothing to do with your journey on this show. Your decisions and choices, I have nothing to do with anyone's process. I had nothing to do with it. None. How you move, your choices, what you chose to do, how you chose to engage, interact, manipulate, deceive, that was you. I didn't influence that. I didn't do anything with that. I was laser focused on what I came here for. My purpose was to find love. And if my person was not here, I wasn't going to fight tooth and nail. I was not going to sit here and do any and everything possible to make it to the end. I would have been okay going home early. I would have been fine with it. You know what I mean? Truth be told, I mean, shoot, I was losing money doing being on this show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So for me, it was just like, okay, that was my purpose. I don't know anyone else's purpose. I don't know these women.
Why be so standoffish with the other women?
Yeah, they said talking about you being standoffish. The thing that
How am I being standoffish?
No, but this is what I'm saying. The thing that they're saying you're being standoffish. What I'm trying to say is, y'all, we wasn't there for every conversation. Why is it because of the fact you got to put this person on a pedestal, which is something I still don't understand. I'm not putting anybody on a pedestal. So you guys put this person on a pedestal, so that leaves so much room for everybody to be less than. And I don't understand why y'all constantly do that. How do y'all know she won't stand off to them or to any of the ladies? Just because you saw the Golden Girls doing their thing and all this, you know, united in mess. I just don't understand. I'm sorry, I don't get it.
No, our voices will never be heard because some people choose not to hear it. And if their narrative is, see, the thing is this. For Sabrina, I was not a part of her journey. I have nothing to do with her journey. Her perception of me is very new to me. What I heard, the small snippet of what she said in her interview, I'm like, okay, all right. But again, Joy has a habit of, okay, Joy has a habit of telling the truth. Joy has a habit of being upfront. Joy has a habit of calling bullshit. That's what Joy has a habit of. Now, whether you don't like my tone, I ain't never lied to you. And I have never said anything to anyone in which you can't go back and use it and utilize it in how you walk in this world. How anyone has moved in this process has been by their choice and their choice only. However, it's a science experiment. Those dates are manufactured dates. I was on a whole bunch of dates with Paul. Does that mean that I had a relationship with Paul, that I was infatuated and had oh, he really, really liked me because I had a whole bunch of dates with Paul? No, I had a whole bunch of dates with Paul because they wanted me to have a whole bunch of dates with Paul.
But okay, I'm gonna say this because the way the narrative was, like even the conversation with you and Clifton sitting there, and I guess the fact that she wanted to know what was going on, Dekia, people feel like actually like he played you or something like that because he's had
No,
interest in Dekia and you, and went back and forth
we
until
were
he said Joy.
we were never equally yoked. Okay, meaning what you don't see when a man has a strong interest in you, when he appreciates you, he does certain things, like he shows his appreciation, gifts, right? Flowers. Did you ever see him give that to Dekia?
I
Anything
didn't see it.
special?
I
Right.
didn't.
Did you see, but you didn't see him give it to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't see him give me anything, right?
Right.
Because we had to look equally yoked. But on my first date with him, I got a beautiful bouquet of purple flowers. Purple is my favorite color. At the retreat, he gave me one of the most endearing gifts. It was all this stuff is recorded, but they had to take it out to make us seem equally yoked, that we were on the same playing field. When we were on the dock talking, what he was talking about, we were talking about other people. Clifton and I was talking about our future on that dock. We ended that dock in a hug, and the drone goes off and everything. But it was so chopped and screwed. Excuse me. It was so chopped and screwed. We did not.
Me and Eric too.
Our love. Yeah, I remember y'all saying that. Like our love, our connection. Oh, it is all on the cutting room floor. What the audience got was the love triangle story that they wanted to show for you, for entertainment. You know what I mean? And you guys enjoyed it. You watched every week and you came back, but that wasn't the reality that we were living at all.
Well, like I said, I know on our me and Eric's date, he sang to me and he told me about his mom being I think a preacher, and no, his mom was a teacher, his dad was a preacher, and my mom being a preacher, and we talked about military. I mean, if these are the dates that you all saw, it would have been probably, I think, a better story. But once
Mm-hmm.
again, show him singing to me because he didn't sing to Dekia. They can't show us having really great conversations because that didn't happen that much with the Kia. So they had to make the storyline where I only say give her eviction. They don't show that he and I got to a point where I was his number one and he wanted to go on more
Mm-hmm.
dates. So they
Mm-hmm.
do injustice to some of us to
Yeah,
make sure
they did.
we don't
Yeah.
that than the other person. Like now you all know all the connections I had. You know what I'm saying? Never showed
Mm-hmm.
Demetrius. Talking about Demetrius in the women's lounge, like we talking 4 hours. You were looking like what? Like you all don't see that because no, we got to keep Carmen as the villain. We can't
Mm-hmm.
make her a sweet too. We can't make her likable, desired.
Mm-hmm.
So they played you guys, and it's okay. You all enjoyed it. Um, I have no hard feelings for some of the harsh things, but now that you know,
Oh
moving forward,
Lord.
just let it be.
So at some point, okay, how can Joy speak on Dakia's connection? And she went, okay, obviously no one try to retain this particular thing. The dates are not dates that we choose We don't choose who we go on dates with. Now, if I don't have a connection to Paul, why do you keep putting me on a date with Paul?
Mm.
You know, everything right now. So, and again, everyone uses the term connection very loosely. Connection, I don't know what it means to anyone else. This is how I take connection is like, okay, Kamisha, I said hello to you, this, and we made a little small talk. We connected, right?
Right.
Right. Well, in this process, it's not about just connecting. It's about building something, growing something, nurturing something. So, yes, in the beginning, yes, everyone connected. Everyone had a connection. But what were you building and growing? What type of foundation are you establishing with someone? Do I feel as though she had that? No, because she couldn't prove it. Her answers are generic. Yeah, we had a strong connection. Okay, you talked on the phone. Did he show you any other sentiments of, that he genuinely liked you in a way outside of making, having a conversation about, your jobs and professions and scratching the surface? We all had connections. The dates, we don't plan the dates. If we were trust and believe, if we were able to control the dates we went on, it would be a whole different story, because then you would really see, hopefully, people building, nurturing something. She can't prove anything. She won't prove the kiss. She can't prove a strong connection other than just saying it. Just because you say it doesn't make it true. When you talking about matters of the heart, me and Clifton were talking about our fathers, how important they are to us, how important they were to us. You know what I mean? The type of men they are. Talking about, our fears, talking about, things that, we wish we didn't do, could have. We talked about so many things. The future, what does that look like? How do you see me in your life? You get what I'm saying? Those are the conversations we were having. Were you having that with him? Because you never said that. You never went in detail of how deep it was. All you just said was we had a connection. We went on dates. Well, we all did that.
Y'all, okay. Look, y'all got a very good treat today. So even though some of you guys are being like negative and all that crap, because most of y'all are blocked anyway by this point. This was a treat to have Carmen, Joy, Paul came up, Demetrius came up. I mean, I don't understand. Sometimes I feel like I cannot please you guys. I mean, seriously. But whatever. I am overjoyed because I did support these queens and kings, and I stand in it. Change nothing. Whoever listening, change nothing. I stand in everything I did, everything I said it, and take nothing back. Live. I'm not people in the chat. Don't take nothing back. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all can say that it's whatever. My feelings and my feelings are personal. It is what it is.
Well, you look lovely. I like that color on you.
Everybody think of me. Carmen, you got any closing words for the haters and for the good people?
Oh, also, I'm sorry, y'all. I meant to tell y'all, when that bedroom scene, when me and Donovan got in there, no one knew that Sabrina walked by and saw us in the bedroom. That's another reason why she was mad. So, sorry, not sorry, Bill. Remarks are, like I said, I came on the show vulnerable, and that's not something that I am really good at, but I try my best to. I didn't want to be a leader. I'm normally a leader, and I wanted to be led, and I wanted to find a man who could lead me, and I wanted to be open, my heart open, to hear a man and his emotions and his life, because I wanted to grow strong with this man. I did not expect this, right? I do not apologize for anything I said. Okay, I do not apologize. I have no hate for nobody. I have nothing but love for, number one, my baby Donovan. If you watching,
Shout out, Donovan.
I am super, super thankful because I met him. Additionally, I'm just appreciative that I met Joy, Clifton, Demetrius, um, Paul, because I feel like they are going to be my family. Now, you all got to know me a little bit. If you want to follow me, because you can see us have our relationship, our friendships, please do. Don't come on my page acting crazy because I will block. Okay.
Oh yeah.
But just get to
I will have their links. Once I end this, I'm gonna add your links. So as they click on the live, all your links will pop up. Everybody who came on here today, their links will be on the description. So they'll be able to follow you.
That's all I say. Get to know us, get to know who we really are off the camera.
Yeah.
Make your decision based on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, my son.
I just want to God, I don't really know what to say. I just, to keep it short and sweet, love wins. I came in open, and I'm extremely grateful the friendships that, I've made, and to find the love of my life, and, to be able to get just such a huge outpouring of love and positivity for people who really did see why you watched the show in the first place. You know what I mean? Extremely grateful for that, and happy for bloggers like you, Kamisha. All shout out to like Jay and Stacey B, and just always kind of giving that perspective from those who have been a part of the process, and really understanding that there are so many things that you don't know, but we're not bad people. We are, we are lovers, we are human, we are, friends, Carmen, mother, there's fathers. These are people who are really good, great people. We have each other's back and support one another. And I just want to say thank you all for, really allowing us to show you something. And for those who are unclear, again, follow us, see our future. You know what I mean? Take a ride on this journey with us. You know what I mean? The real life.
Look, I can say, y'all follow their journey and see, because I'm pretty sure they have a lot more to show us, and I will be following and posting like I always do. And let's talk with Sheila. 100%. I will say this loud. Period. I am the best. I'm confident. I don't care what nobody say about it. I am the best. Point blank.
Period.
Put some respect on my name. 100%.
Name.
Okay. I'm just over it. Call me a mean girl, I'll be that. Been called it before, be called again. Don't bother me. All righty then. With that, I'm sorry, go ahead, Mama. Go ahead.
Thank you, Kamisha, for letting us come on and speak.
Yes.
Y'all family.
Thank you, Kamisha. Thank you.
What's gonna happen? Y'all know what's gonna happen. It's gonna happen since the beginning. They've been waiting for this. So I'm really happy you guys came on. I respect the fact you came on, even though some will not. So I respect the fact that you guys do. I do.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
All right, Mama. I'm about to be out of here. I'm going to close the door. Y'all have a great day. Make sure y'all follow, comment, subscribe. I'm going to have all the links in the description. Until next time, peace.